What's going on, everybody? This is the second part of podcast 2. Tell you from about the middle to the end. It's going to pick up right where part 1 left off. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's go. Okay, we're going to move on to our third topic, and that is the 2016 finals and how it affects LeBron and Steph. Jared's going to touch more player-wise, and I'm going to touch a little bit more team-wise, player-wise as well. Jack, you bring whatever you have. And we're going to go with it. Jared, if you want to start off, you want to start with LeBron or Steph?
Winners first. We'll go with LeBron, I guess.
Nice.
Okay, I think it's obvious at this point. LeBron's the best player on the planet.
There's no argument.
There's no way around it.
The freak of nature.
Yep.
And ever since he came to the league, people just were criticizing him, and every year he kept getting better, and he kept improving and proving everybody wrong, I guess. So the first argument once he got to the finals was, oh, he's not clutch. Oh, but then in this finals, last 3 games, 41, next game 41, game 7, triple-double.
Yep.
He can't shoot. Oh, but his rookie year, he shot 41%, and now this year, he's shooting over 50%. And then the other thing, can't win a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now he's got 3.
Yep.
And the other thing with that is people always say, they criticize him because he left Cleveland to go to Miami because he wasn't. If you're in Cleveland and you're doing all this work with all these scrubs around you,
You're the chosen one.
You're going to get a little impatient too, and you're going to get a little annoyed. So I think at that point he said, okay, it's time to get some help, and why not go play with your best friends in Florida?
A lot of people compared him going to Miami as anybody else like going to college almost, because he came right out of high school. So he kind of went with his friends, was really good. It's not a perfect comparison, but whatever.
But that makes sense.
I mean, at this point, if there was any legacy tarnishment from those 4 finals losses,
Gone. It's gone. Yeah, he's 3-4 in the finals.
It's gone. I mean, he's a top 5 player ever. You can make the argument for top 3 ever. Once his career finished, to say he's gonna pass Mike, I've never seen Michael play. None of us have.
Okay. I'm glad
So I mean, I can't make that call. I mean, people who have seen both of them play can make that call. Compare the numbers, he's gonna be up there with Michael.
Here's my thing. Like you said, I've never seen Michael Jordan play.
Same.
But everybody's got a TV, so they play a lot of old school films.
And YouTube exists.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you see Michael play, you see the numbers, you see the clips. In my opinion, he is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I think that people, they compare the two, but they don't want to believe that anybody can be better than Michael. Like the fact that nothing, like the originals or the sequels never better than the original. Mm-hmm. So I think
sometimes it is,
but not in this
when LeBron is so under the microscope because they think they don't want, a lot of people don't want him to be better than Michael Jordan because they think Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan and no one else can be Michael Jordan. But I think LeBron is making a strong push for himself, but there really is no argument. I think LeBron and Michael Jordan are 2 separate players, and they need to be in that same, they need to be in 2 separate categories. And
okay, we're not gonna have this debate, even though you kind of already made your case. There's a lot of uneducated people that the night Cleveland won, oh, LeBron's the best of all time now, right? No, Michael Jordan is for several reasons. I mean, and there's no way to compare, like you said, it's 2 completely different times in the NBA. The NBA is completely different now. It caters to a much different kind of play. 2 completely separate players. And my main argument for this, whenever I do argue with somebody, is Michael Jordan's 6-0 in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
And LeBron has 4 losses. And I won't get into it. You can say that Michael had a better team or whatever, but LeBron teamed up with 2 of the best players in the NBA in their prime.
And
they lost twice.
That's it.
That's my case. I'm not gonna. We won't have this whole discussion, but go ahead.
All right, this is my last point, then we can switch the subject.
No problem.
I'm not saying he will be, but LeBron isn't better than Michael Yet.
No,
Yet.
If he rips off another 2 or 3 straight, or just another 2-3 period.
The dude is 31 years old.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I hate comparisons of when Mike was 31 years old. And
Because
31 years
LeBron
old.
didn't go to college.
Exactly.
I'm not saying look at the numbers.
Oh, no, I'm not either. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm saying the dude has at least 6 more years in the league. Even if he's not starting for 6 more years, the dude's playing.
I think he's dominant for another 4 at least.
The dude is playing till he's maybe 38.
That dude, everything that guy does is catering to his body and his basketball well-being. Every meal he eats, every activity he does, he's so.
And listen to this. He said he wants to end his career playing with his best friends, playing with Dwayne Wade, playing with Melo.
We'll talk about Dwayne Wade.
Listen, if he gets what he wants, which he usually does,
he's the GM of the Celtics.
That's
dude.
Cavaliers.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's gonna be a team in the near future because Dwayne Wade doesn't have much time left. Carmelo's getting to the point where he's getting injured more than he's playing. LeBron's the only one out of that little group that really is still full strength.
There's Chris Paul.
Chris Paul is. I mean, look at last year. He got hurt last year.
But I feel bad for Chris Paul because he's the best straight-up point guard, and the game doesn't.
That is 100% true.
Yeah,
Chris Paul is
he's
the best
100% the best pure point guard, but the league doesn't cater to pure point guards anymore. It caters to scoring point guards or super dominant Russell Westbrook types. So,
or point guards that can win a playoff series,
like
Kyrie.
Scores.
Kyrie's
not a pure point guard. That's
but
what I'm
he wins playoff series.
Kyrie has LeBron.
He wins.
Right. Okay. Kyrie.
Don't get me on this Chris Paul thing.
We won't.
Chris
Paul's the best pure point guard in the NBA.
Don't get me wrong. Chris Paul
is 100% the best pure point guard in the NBA. There's no argument about that.
I'm just saying why.
Steph's not better than Chris Paul at being a point guard. Kyrie's not better than Chris Paul at being a point guard.
I'm not saying he is.
They're better scorers.
I'm just saying I'm telling you as a reason why Chris Paul doesn't get as much love.
No, I agree with you. Okay. For me, my points real quick. LeBron has no burdens anymore. There's no pressure on LeBron for anything anymore, I don't think.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with that.
Let me rephrase. There's no pressure of you didn't, I don't know. Like, you won in Miami, blah, 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 like, whatever.
Now, you need to win in Cleveland.
You need to win. He did.
But the press...
There's not as much pressure. There's not as much criticism on LeBron anymore. That's good for. It's a big weight lifted off his shoulders that he won a title in Cleveland. The only thing he really has to worry about at this point is going back to back in Cleveland. Basically, he's 100% staying. That's confirmed. Kyrie, all season until they won. If they lost, I'm 100% because there's rumors of Chris Paul for Kyrie. It works out well for both teams because that's what LeBron wants. Mm-hmm. Kyrie goes to LA. It's a good fit. That's not happening anymore. There's no way that's happening whatsoever. Kevin Love, on the other hand, people said he was really bad in the postseason. Listen, he averaged 16, 10, and 2 in the regular season. He was underused by Cleveland, period, regardless if it's David Blatt or Tyronn Lue. Secondly, 16, 10, and 2 regular season. Playoffs is 14, 7, and 2. Not that much of a regression whatsoever. For the record, though, he wasn't super in the finals. Does he get moved?
No. I don't think he gets moved.
No. I think they want to keep this core together.
That's what Ty Lue's already came out and said that. But
yeah.
LeBron is the GM, so.
No, I don't think he gets moved.
I hope he doesn't get moved.
If he does, they better get a lot back.
If he does, I think he goes to like the Celtics or something.
Because this is what they wanted. This is why they brought him in here to win a championship.
And they did.
That's what they did. So.
Real quick, he's a 3-4 in the final. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going over my notes. 1 for Cleveland. What does he do next year? Next year, like after this next season, regardless of what he does. LeBron, Westbrook, Blake Griffin, Steph, CP3, Oladipo, and KD are all giant free agents next summer. It's the biggest free agent summer we've had in a long time.
KD might sign a long-term deal. That's all I'm saying.
I'm thinking right, but this is assuming he signs a 2-year deal with a 1-year opt-out because that's the smartest thing economically for him. If so, I mean, CP3's free. D Wade say he signs a 1 year this year. Melo's the only guy in those 4 that isn't open. What happens?
Listen. All right,
they're all later on in their career next year. LeBron will be 32. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they want to get together and be a very good team, next year is the time to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Next summer is the year the super team commences.
Oh, this is bold. This is a confirmed hot take from Jack.
LeBron signed a 1-1 with Cleveland like he did this year. Dwayne Wade's going to come to terms with Miami. He's not leaving there. Too. He's going to sign the 1-1, the player option.
Okay.
CP3's free. Melo is one of 3 Knicks on contract next year.
Nice.
They have 3 players coming next summer.
All I'm saying is the New York Knicks might be very good very soon.
The amount of cap space they're going to have next summer is maybe record-setting.
Derrick Rose isn't on contract next year. It's this year is Derrick Rose.
It's Carmelo, Kyle O'Quinn, and Kristaps Porzingis.
Sounds good to me.
Kyle O'Quinn can walk his way to a champion. He might be the luckiest man ever.
He can Joel Anthony. He can do what Joel.
He can do what James. He can do what James Jones has done.
He can do a 2012 Juwan Howard on the Heat.
But that is true. The Knicks will have to sign James Jones if they sign LeBron. It's only right.
And probably Mike Miller.
Oh man.
Okay. That's it for me for the LeBron side. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Steph. Want to lead it off?
Yeah, I think overall, I think he is one of the best shooters of all time. I don't want to go and say he's the best shooter.
I like that you're saying that because so many people are saying that now.
Yeah,
that he's the best shooter of all time.
It's like when he has
Give him a year.
When he has these crazy games and he's making all these crazy shots and he's on like a hot streak for 2 weeks. Everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, he's the best shooter of all time. I've never seen anything like this." But then he goes cold in the finals, and everybody's saying, "What's wrong with Steph Curry? Why is he not performing like this?" Mm-hmm. And I think before he can take that crown as the best shooter of all time, we're gonna have to give him a little more. But I still think he is one of the best shooters of all time.
Real quick, I think, in my opinion, he's the best shooter off the dribble of all time.
Okay. I can respect that.
Okay. Because any other great shooter you think of in Ray Allen or Reggie Miller or even Clay at this point, I mean, they're all spot-up guys.
Right.
They can't create their own shot. They could, but not as well as Steph can.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Jack.
I'll come and say what you guys don't want to say. Steph is the best shooter of all time.
Okay.
The dude made over 400 3-pointers in one season.
He set the record last year and then broke his own record this year.
Shattered his
by
own
over
record.
100.
I know we want to talk about Reggie. We want to talk about Ray Allen.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're spot-up shooters. He can create his own
shot. Steph is the best shooter of all time.
I think that...
And it's scary because he's so young. It's scary to admit it.
Not that young. He's 28.
28's approaching his prime.
We're saying LeBron's old at 30.
Prime.
You're saying LeBron has 4 years left at 31.
Approaching his prime.
He's in his prime.
He's
27
he might be
27
to 30.
End of it. 27 to 30 is in his prime.
He's back-to-back MVP. He's in his prime. But I think what Sav said about off the dribble, that accounts for his 400 threes because he doesn't have to just wait for the ball to be thrown to him to shoot the ball. He has the ball in his hands. He can cross somebody and then shoot it. And that accounts for his 400.
He can dribble through 5 guys and then go through 2 more of the same guys and then shoot it from a fade away from 45 and make it.
So, yeah.
I will firmly stand by my thing that says Reggie.
Yeah, for the record, he's 28. He turned 28 in March. So.
Steph is. I'll come out and say Steph's the best shooter of all time. Unless he.
Okay. I don't have a problem with you saying that.
And breaks every bone below his hip and doesn't play a game of basketball again.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Because you said he's the best shooter of all time, unless he's had 2 outstanding seasons, back-to-back MVP. Before that, he was good for a year or 2. Before that, he's an average point guard. He needs to keep this up for maybe another 2 or 3 years to be considered the best shooter of all time, in my opinion.
I just don't see the guy slowing down. If he proves me wrong, then I'll retract my statement.
I don't see him slowing down either, but I don't think he's going to make 400 threes next year. Anyway, I'll run over my list of notes about Steph, then you can.
All right.
Regardless, I want to preface this with I don't like Steph Curry. He's not my favorite. I don't like Steph Curry more than any other NBA player. He's the most entertaining to watch. I think he's more entertaining to watch than LeBron. I don't think he's better than LeBron. I think he's the most entertaining player in the NBA. I think he was hurt during the finals. I don't know to what extent. It didn't affect his stats because in 2016 regular season, he went 35-6. The playoffs, he went 25-5-6. He averaged 5 points less. That's not a lot. Fourth quarter, he didn't do well in the playoffs. He choked a lot. Not choked, but he just didn't perform as well in the fourth quarter as he did the rest of it. He wasn't as clutch. So I do think he was a little bit hurt, whether it was the shoulder or the arm or whatever he had. I don't think it was his ankles again. The 73-9 for the team, again, means nothing at this point. They didn't finish it off. Just a couple other things here. He's a free agent next year. We'll talk about that. Bogut, if he's healthy for Game 7, do they win?
Yes, because
I think so as well.
Because the Golden State bigs, Varejao and Festus Ezeli.
And if Iguodala is also healthy,
yes.
I mean, I know he played, but if he's also at full strength, I think they 100% win.
Varejao and Festus Ezeli in Game 7 combined for a whopping 1 point and 1 rebound.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 guys.
And to be fair, to my own point, saying he was hurt in the playoffs isn't all that justifiable because he didn't do well in the playoffs last year either. And then I have a few other things we'll touch on after Jared goes, but you can go ahead, Jack.
I just want. Oh, shoot, what was I
Go ahead, Jared.
yeah.
Okay, well, to go off what you said, I think it's kind of cool how he came. One, he was an underdog in college, and he got picked in the first round. And then he comes in, he's got an average year, he has some injury troubles.
Jared, let me lob you a softball real quick. Why do people love Steph Curry so much?
Well, I think that he's kind of relatable to everybody. Instead of seeing this guy go and do a windmill dunk, whatever, stuff like that. A lot of people,
LeBron player, not everybody's LeBron.
Yeah, a lot of people that watch basketball can't really do that. That's why they're watching it, not playing it. And I think he kind of relates to the average person because if you go to the park, if the average person goes to the park, he's not going to go and dunk it. He's probably going to shoot threes, and that's what Steph Curry does.
To touch on that real quick, there's a great article on The Ringer, Bill Simmons' new website. I forget who it was written by, but there's a pair of brothers, and their dad's a coach in a high school in Northern California, or might be above that. And they go to the gym every day and practice 45-footers. That's all they do. And then they do it in the game, and they make it. Not single-handedly, but the Warriors by themselves changed the whole dynamic of the NBA. They eliminated the dominant big man spot. I don't think that's they evolved the NBA by themselves. That death lineup where it's Steph, Clay, Iguodala, Harrison Barnes, and Draymond, there's no big guy there. Draymond's the biggest guy, and he's 6'9". I mean, they eliminated centers. Roy Hibbert, he was a very good player 5 years ago. Now he's almost useless.
But at the same time, they also have now found ways to stop that.
I agree.
Example, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Do you think...
Now, I agree that they changed it because the Cleveland Cavaliers also had to go small. So they changed it by having their opponents go small.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's all you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not going to be too effective when all 30 teams end up going small.
That's
Right.
when you have to make a new change.
Exactly.
And that's
not
when
every team's done that. Look at the Pistons. Look at, the Kings. Look at wherever Dwight Howard goes. There's still dominant big men left, but that's where the NBA is going to.
That's also
In
why
my
we're not
opinion.
hearing about the Kings and the Pistons in April
There you go.
all season because they don't play that way.
There you go.
Wait till next year. But
Well,
like I said, Steph Curry, he relates to the average person. Like he's not a huge guy. He's 6'1". No, he's like 6'3". So he's not one of these ginormous NBA players. He shoots threes and he plays small and like that. I don't know. I just think that's what people. That's how most people would
relatable.
play. It's more relatable.
Steph's the kid that sits in his backyard for 4 hours and shoots from the same spot.
And now there's a whole bunch of
And
kids that can do that. Not everybody. Yeah, it's what
That is just exactly. I'm just going off what Jared
No,
says.
absolutely.
Just he's the kid
Of course.
that's in the gym from sun up to sundown shooting 300 3-pointers instead of working on every dynamic on the offensive side. He just shoots. I'll say it off camera, but I want to compare him to someone that we know. He's the kid that just sits there and shoots, and he's the kid that you hate playing against in pickup, but you love having him on his team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see, to touch on my small ball thing, when Steph and Clay go cold, they're losing by 30. When their shooting doesn't work, they're losing by a lot of points.
To go off Jack's point, how he's saying the guy that you hate, like he's the extreme example of that scenario. I got 3 more things. I mean,
Go for it.
He's a 2-time MVP, and when you're the 2-time MVP, people expect you to be the best. They expect you to play like the MVP. And I think since we said how he's so small, or not so small, but how he's not one of these huge guys in the NBA, the regular season, amazing regular season, and some of the playoffs wore him down physically. And I think that's a reason why he didn't play so good in the playoff. He played good. He wasn't as efficient, I don't think. But 73-9, it's amazing. And I don't think there's any way around it. Just because they didn't finish it off doesn't take away the fact that it's amazing. And I think he'll be back. I think he's going to come back stronger. He's going to come back more focused, and I'm excited to see what comes for the 2016-2017 season.
To touch on Steph, regardless of what happens this year, or is it dependent on what happens this year, or is he just signing straight back? Steph Curry is a free agent after this season. What happens?
I think he signs back.
Me too.
I think he stays in Golden State for the max they can give him.
I think just because, coming out of Davidson, not really a huge market, someone actually giving him a chance, I think he'll stay loyal, and the fans that love him, all what the Warriors have given him and what he's given to the city, I don't think there's any way he leaves.
As long as Steph Curry doesn't average 13 points a game this year or die, he's getting a max contract offer from every team that can afford it. I think he's staying as well. A good point brought up was he's from Charlotte. His dad played for Charlotte. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. But at some point, someone's going to ask him mid-season, hey, Steph, you think about free agency? No, not really. I'm just focused on the season. All right, well, what about going back home to Charlotte? I love Charlotte, whatever. Just focused on the season. Headlines are all Steph Curry like Charlotte. He's going to go back. I don't say it's going to happen, but the press is going to go wild this year with that, just to preview. Couple more team-related things to the Warriors. Harrison Barnes.
I was about to bring him up.
First of all, Harrison Barnes is dependent on Kevin Durant. Obviously, if they get Kevin Durant, there's no need for Harrison Barnes. I don't think they're getting Kevin Durant. That's just me. So Harrison Barnes, Kevin Durant out of the equation. What's happening?
It's all based on if Harrison wants to play the waiting game. If he wants to sign...
It's all based on, does he want to be the worst player on the best team? Not worst, but a mid-level player on the best team or the best player on a bad team?
I was watching PTI today,
okay.
And it's pretty much up to Harrison Barnes because he has offers on the table.
Everywhere, yeah, of course.
Philadelphia offers him $22 million a year for 4 years.
That's nuts.
That's hard to pass up. But listen, it's the Warriors literally said, listen, if you take the deal, we won't be mad. Mm-hmm. But we are going after Kevin Durant harder than we're going after you.
And that has to make sense.
So 100%. Yeah. If Barnes wants to wait a week or two to see where Durant goes, he can.
That's what I would do.
If he wants,
Harrison Barnes.
If he wants to be one of the first free agents to sign that huge deal, he's going to Philly.
They have 2 weeks free agency is 2 weeks long. So
and nobody knows what Harrison Barnes is going to do besides Harrison Barnes.
Jared, you seem excited to talk.
So if I'm Harrison Barnes and the Warriors come to me and say, hi, you can take the deal, but we're going to go after Kevin Durant harder than we're going to go after you. In my mind, I'm heated because we just beat the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's a very good
point.
And
we got to the NBA Finals, and you don't want me anymore, and you want Kevin Durant more. He's 24. He's already got a ring. Why not take the money? Why not take the money somewhere else and try? Maybe not be the number one option on the Philly team because they got Ben Simmons and they got Okafor.
But he's one of the best.
Make a face, make a name for yourself, not just be Steph Curry's sidekick
that turns into a whole new debate: is can Harrison Barnes be one of the best players on a team by himself?
In my as a player, as a player thinking, oh yeah, I can do that, but that's why you play the game to see if you can actually do it.
So. Hot take, real quick. Where does Harrison Barnes end up?
I think he goes to Philly to take the money.
I like him in Philly.
I hope
it's hard for me. I think Golden State doesn't get Kevin Durant. He signs back, but that's just me. Okay, we'll bring it to the end of that topic and I'll close with the legacy. Steph's legacy isn't as hurt as bad by losing as if LeBron would have lost. LeBron would have so much more to deal with and so much more hate and criticism than Steph does. Nobody seems to be talking about how Steph lost, but they would 100% be talking about how LeBron lost.
Another thing, I don't know if anybody ever sees these, but on Twitter they're always bringing up how like how Steph was raised in a high-class home with like an NBA family and he's rich, and LeBron's parents were poor and that's why everybody hates him. And that is absolutely ridiculous. That is the most ignorant statement you can ever say.
In my opinion, everybody criticizes LeBron as much as he does because in his sophomore year in high school, ESPN was covering his games. So since then, he's been the chosen one. He's been the next MJ. He's been the best player in the world. And then he does the decision. Go to Miami, fine, not a big deal. But to do it and embarrass Cleveland like that and go on ESPN for a half-hour special,
maybe not. Leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. Just don't do the decision. He said he regrets it. I think that and just being expected to be, to what Jared said, Steph Curry was an underdog. Steph Curry isn't expected to be good, or wasn't. So now everybody likes him since he's the underdog. LeBron, since he's been 15 years old, is the best player in the world. And I think that's what everybody doesn't like.
And with being the best player in the world comes with everybody's expectations for you.
Nice.
And when you don't live up to somebody's expectations, especially in this day and age now, it's going to get thrown out all over the internet. LeBron can't do this. LeBron can't do that. But in reality, they just can't accept the fact that he's the best and he will remain the best.
Okay, we'll wrap up on that. We have a few topics, just a couple little things we'll talk about for 5 minutes or so because we're already at an hour and 10 minutes. So
it's worth the listen, folks.
Absolutely.
It's worth the listen.
Well, you don't have to tell them that if it's this far. If you're this far in, we really do appreciate you. For the 4 people that listen in total, we'll try to keep this under 10 minutes or so. Dwayne Wade opted out today. He didn't opt out. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. He's a free agent, and his agent himself said that D. Wade is available to other teams. There's a lot of variables that go into this. I'll lead it off. Their first 2 priorities are KD and Whiteside before D. Wade because they're younger. They have more to contribute. Regardless if they get either of them, Dwayne Wade wants his money. He's taken a pay cut since before the Big 3 formed to be a better team. He wants his money now. That's not what's best for the team, but it is what's best for him. So they're at a real crossroads here. I can't see D-Wade in anywhere else but Miami. But if he were to go anywhere else, it has to be Cleveland, I would think. Go ahead.
So I think what's going on in D-Wade's head is probably, what has Hassan Whiteside and Kevin Durant done for this franchise?
Nice.
And what have I done for this franchise?
Yep.
I've brought this franchise 3 NBA titles. What have they done? And I think another thing that's going through his head is what happened with Kobe. Kobe got paid for his past and what he did for the team.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
But Pat Riley's looking at that as Kobe got paid for his past, but the Lakers sucked in Kobe's last 2 years. So what is Pat? Pat Riley and D. Wade want to go in completely separate directions, and one of them is going to win.
I just want to point out, this happens every time D. Wade's contract comes up.
I agree.
Pat Riley and him, 2 of the most stubborn people in sports.
But every time every time D. Wade's contracts came up, Kevin Durant and Hassan Whiteside weren't free agents.
He doesn't. He signs the 1-1. He signs the maybe. I know he wants his money. He's gonna sign the 2-year with the player option after 1, maybe for a little less than max, and he's just gonna opt out.
That's the most agreeable to me. Is why I think
Pat Riley's gonna have to deal with it. He's gonna be, listen, Pat, I'll give you 1 more year for under the max, but someone's gonna give me max next year.
Okay, we will settle on that. I think that's what's gonna happen as well. Real quick, we got our takes last podcast about where KD and Whiteside are gonna end up. I said Knicks for Whiteside, and you said the Lakers. Where's Whiteside gonna end up, Jared?
Okay. the thing that bothers me about Hassan Whiteside, he's this huge guy with he's tall, he's pretty strong, but the thing is he doesn't use his body the way he needs to, and I think he's soft. Like in my opinion,
we're throwing fists over here.
The thing that bugs me, I always think about this. What would I do if I was that type of person? Like if I was 7'1", 250, what would I do? I wouldn't be a soft guy that wants to shoot mid-range jumpers. I would be the guy that demands the ball in the post and dunks on anybody trying to get in my way.
He's had some vicious dunks, man, but he's not that kind of player. I agree.
But so I think in order for him to get a max contract, which is a ridiculous label, by the way, because no one is especially with the cap room going up. You don't have to be a max player
and then
to get max money.
Oh man,
so
I'm excited.
I just think in order for him to get the max contract, he needs to prove himself more. And honestly, I could care less where he goes.
Yeah, he's had a year and a half of being a good player.
I could care less where he goes.
This summer, just to touch on the cap room real quick, this summer the cap's going up quite a bunch. But next summer, the summer of 2017, when, let's read this again,
super team in
Russell,
New York.
Blake, Steph, CP3, Oladipo, and maybe Kevin Durant are all free agents. Almost every single team has about an infinite amount of money to play with. So next summer is going to change a lot in the NBA, period. Anything you have to add to the D-Wade thing?
No. He
Okay.
stays in Miami.
Kevin Durant. As of today, why am I checking my watch? June 29th. Kevin Durant has meetings with the Thunder, the Spurs, the Warriors, the Heat, the Celtics, and the Clippers. I don't know how much you guys know about this. He's meeting them. All teams are coming to him in the Hamptons or like somewhere near New York area. OKC goes first. Real quick, what do you guys think about that? I think they should go last out of every team, but that's just me.
I think he scheduled them in the order he wants to go to most.
I don't know if that's the right order anyway, but I know OKC is first. I don't know about the rest.
Well, I do think OKC is top priority, especially after the draft day acquisitions.
Nice.
And I'm not really positive what I said last podcast where I said he's going to go.
You said he's going to stay.
Okay, well, I'm going to stand by my position, especially after these
I want him to go to Boston very badly, but I think he's going to stay 1-1. All right, Jared. On to you. KD, where does he land?
I think he stays in OKC.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, if he goes to the Warriors, I think he gets looked at as, like, kind of, I don't want to say soft, I don't want to say like a traitor, but kind of like weak, I guess.
I get that, but how hard is it going to be not to go to the Warriors when their GM looks at you in the face and says, listen, we beat you straight up last year. We came down from 3-1 with the two best shooters in the NBA right now, Steph and Clay. And then we have Draymond, who's revitalizing, retooling, redoing everything to the center position. We have Andre Iguodala as a veteran leader. Dude, why would you not come here? We can win 1,000,000 championships. But again, I think he stays in OKC. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's going to be hard for him to resist Golden State.
Well, in my mind, Kevin Durant's the best scorer in the league.
I like that. Go ahead.
So if he's the best scorer in the league, what's going to happen with the shot selection with Kevin Durant, the two-time MVP Steph Curry,
nice,
and the up-and-coming
I agree. Nice point.
Klay Thompson.
Great point.
Also add Draymond Green, who was an All-Star this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that must go into his head. Also, if he goes to Miami, people will say, oh, he's just following in LeBron's footsteps.
I agree.
And I don't think he wants...
I don't know, though, because he's not teaming up with anybody there. I mean...
Well, he'd be teaming up with D-Wade and Bosh still.
Bosh might retire, but that's beside the point. Go ahead.
So I think if he goes somewhere, it'll be to have a fresh start or just to continue his own legacy.
What do you think of him in Boston?
I just don't see it happening.
Me neither, but I really would like it to.
I just don't see it happening.
Back to your point where you said you still think he's the best scorer.
Yeah.
If you take away the last years in the NBA and rewind back to Heat Spurs win in 2013, yeah. Kevin Durant's the best scorer. LeBron's the best player in the world. A bunch of I don't know. I can't think of anything else, but at this these last 2 years have really transformed the NBA into wow, it's just the Cavs and the Warriors. That's it. There's no other team. Mm-hmm. I think everybody's starting to come down from that a little bit now that they lost, and they're realizing that there's other good players that aren't Steph Curry and LeBron James, and these last 2 years have really made it a two-team dominant league with everybody else trying to make a run at them. I think we're coming down from that a little bit of the Warriors are going to be untouchable. The Cavs are going to run away with the East, even though they probably are again next year. I think everybody's starting to come down and realize again that there's more than just those two teams and two players in the NBA, and that there's going to be more players to look at, like Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook, and all these different teams that make it that give more competition into the NBA rather than just the Cavs and the Warriors.
But I think in the midst of that, Kevin Durant was still always there. And
me too, but he was forgotten about, is what I'm saying.
I think 2 years ago, when LeBron's in Miami losing to San Antonio, Kevin Durant's giving him a run for best player in the world.
Me too. Yeah, that's a great point.
I agree.
And now nobody talks about it. They say Kevin Durant's 3 behind Steph and LeBron. I don't think that's true anymore. Okay, and our last topic here, it's going to be very small, unless you guys got anything else to add other than this. The Pistons traded Jody Meeks for a second-round pick today, therefore just clearing more cap room.
Take out the trash.
We have an extra. Oh, he's not a bad shooter. He was hurt all last year, but
exactly.
Can't say he was taking out the trash.
If he's hurt all last year and they finally make the playoffs, then what's the point of keeping him?
Exactly. It gave us another $6.5 million. We now have $14 million in cap room for the free agency. And I've seen somehow, I'm guessing it's between options and stuff like that. If we release Tolliver and Steve Blake or don't sign him back or something,
big loss.
We're gonna eventually have $21 million. So that's quite a bunch to get one or two free agents. And I know you really like Al Horford in Detroit. We have Drummond, man. I don't know if we're getting Al Horford. I think backup point guard's top priority.
It would be sweet if Drummond could play the fourth quarter.
That'd be really cool. We won't touch on that again because we went deep into that last time. But
I think it'll be a problem. I honestly think it'll be fine because Al Horford is a stretch four. He can step out and shoot the ball, he can go on the post.
I'm all for it. I mean, bring me Al Horford.
But the only problem is, in my mind, I think Andre Drummond thinks that he is a post presence. When I say post presence, I mean put him on the block, make a move, and score. And that's not what he does.
He doesn't do that a lot, no.
Reggie Jackson drives in or off a pick and roll and throws the ball in the air wherever he wants near the rim, and he'll grab it and dunk it.
Yep.
And that's what he does. But I think he tries to be a post-up center, and it doesn't work. So, especially after last year, his confidence and ego was at an all-time high. And if they bring in another guy like that, like a big guy like that.
Wait, you think Drummond's confidence and ego is at an all-time high?
Oh, yes.
Not in the fourth quarters, not with free throws and stuff.
Yeah,
There's no way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fine. So with the 14 or 21 million, whatever, what should the Pistons do in the offseason?
They need a veteran backup point guard. That's
not Steve Blake.
They need a veteran backup point guard.
Not a fan of Matthew Dellavedova, but he's looking like one of the better options.
We can have the Australian connection on our second line with him and Aaron Baines.
The deli could be open. They can open restaurants in the Palace called the deli and have his face dotting the I.
If they get a veteran point guard, then I think they got all the pieces. It's just going to take a few years.
Real quick, this was brought up near the trade deadline. Stanley and Drummond for Boogie. Do you do it?
No.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
No way.
Me neither.
That's the future, giving up for somebody that's in their prime, I guess. But the Pistons won't do.
We won't be competitive with.
They're not at that level that they need it.
Okay. Anything else you guys got to add after an hour or 2 hours now? We'll be cutting a lot of it out, so it's probably going to be closer to 110.
I'm just excited to see the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals next year. If they sign KD.
Yeah, my finals prediction last podcast for next year, even though we did it about a year in advance, was Thunder Cavs again. So
regardless on if KD signs back, Mitch McGary will lead them to a NBA championship. Put it in your books right now. Put it down. It's on the record.
Kyle Singler, man, he's not contributing.
But just if you break it down, they have everybody to match.
There's
up
no
with
way that
Golden
the
State.
Thunder are. There's no weaknesses in the Thunder anymore. If so, it's the 4 position. I mean,
so if Sabonis can just prove himself
Exactly.
as that rebounder that they
and who
need,
says that they've made 2 pretty large deadline deals in the last couple years? I think they're pretty well set. I think we're all good. Yeah. Again, sorry that we did 2 straight NBA podcasts to start off a podcast that isn't just sports, but we did 2 hours today and 45 minutes the other day, and we had to do 2 of them. So that shows how much there's to talk about, and we still didn't cover a whole bunch of stuff involving the NBA. So why don't we all throw out our Twitter handles to get an extra follower or 2, and we'll head out. Jared, go ahead.
It's a little complicated. At the underscore real underscore JJ
underscore
5.
Nice. Jack?
Sixpack Jack _ PT2.
And I am at Savada, SAVADAH. In case you didn't catch it, I'll say it again. At SAVADAH. That's going to be it for us. Jack and I, it might just be us for next podcast, or we might get another guest. Don't know what the topic's going to be. It's not going to be sports, we can tell you that. And we're out of here. So enjoy this outro music that's fading in right now, and we'll see you later.